Hi there. I was wrong about Alibaba stock. Maybe you remember my past video. 2 weeks ago, my prediction was next. I said that Alibaba stock will go up after the earnings, Q4 2025. And guess what happened? The stock price, right the day of the earnings, the announcement, the stock price went down 8%. So I was wrong. And if you believe this decline happened because Alibaba missed the analysts' expectations, the estimates. They missed the earnings by 0.04 cents and missed the earnings by 500 million. 500 million of $42.8 billion. So because of these misses, the stock price has declined by over 8%, if you believe that. Now, my prediction was based on that the revenue for e-commerce China and cloud will go up a lot next quarter, what they reported. And that happened, of course. E-commerce, if you look at e-commerce China, up 9%. Cloud up 18%. Quite a high growth rate. But despite this, and also an improvement in income from operations, an increase over 93% year over year, despite these great numbers, great growth rates, the stock price has declined by 8%. And only because they missed the analyst estimates. So this is quite amazing, if you can believe how they think about this. I mean, if a bunch of analysts think that Alibaba will deliver 33 billion, but they miss by 500 million, the stock price goes down. This is quite foolish. I mean, maybe those analysts are wrong. Maybe their valuation is not the right one. Because when you look at the growth rate of Alibaba, you see those amazing growth rates. Quite amazing. But because some analysts said the revenue will be this and this for earnings, the stock price went down a lot. Now, going forward, despite my bad prediction, what a bad one, going forward, if you look at Alibaba at their growth rate for the last quarter, Q4 2025, it was amazing. Their results were quite amazing, in line with what I expected. So, you see here, e-commerce China, customer management has increased by 12%. If you remember past quarters, this growth rate was flat, almost flat, quite low. But they succeeded to increase this revenue from customer management by over 10%, 12%. And cloud, which is another driver for Alibaba, 18%. Quite amazing. Of course, consolidated revenue, an increase of 7%. But be aware that Alibaba has more businesses. Now, you also have to look at their earnings. And you see here their earnings, how they have improved. Last quarter, e-commerce China, up 8%. International, an improvement. They still have losses, so they have to work more here. And cloud, if you look at cloud, an increase close to 17%, 69%. So they delivered for the last quarter $343 million. And the other segments, they still have some losses, but they have reduced year over year. So overall, income from operations have improved by 93% in the last quarter compared to 2024. And these are amazing numbers. But the market doesn't want to look in the future, over the next year. They look at the short term, at the moment. If they miss the estimates, stock price goes down. Now, don't forget that they also have Ant Group, which deliver another earnings. For the last quarter, 1.7 billion renminbi. This means $243 million, just for one quarter. Be aware of this. Now, what you have to be aware is this. You see the results for the full year 2025. Look here, consolidated revenue, just up 6%. And you look at Taobao and Tmall, just a growth of 3%. The market doesn't look at the future growth rate. They started to increase the growth rate for Taobao and Tmall right in the last quarter, Q4. And to see a higher growth rate here, you still have to wait some quarters till the analysts wake up and see the true value of Alibaba. I mean the market. Let's be honest, the market. Till the market wakes up and see the future long-term potential of Alibaba. Yes, you see here 3%, cloud just 11%, local services still nice, 12%. And then you look at earnings, year over year, full year, just an increase of 1%. E-commerce still down, cloud intelligence here is nice, 72%, $1.4 billion. And local services, they have reduced their losses quite a lot. So, the market looks at the past, the full year 2025. And you see those growth rates, but they are quite low. But if you look at the last quarter, Q4, up a lot. And if you read more, study each segment, each business of Alibaba, you'll understand why Taobao and Tmall went up, what happened, and also for cloud intelligence and the other segments. Now, what matters is what's next, because you make money in the future, not in the past. So what's next? Again, my prediction, Taobao and Tmall will continue to grow. You'll see those growth rates in the future, high growth rates, and same for cloud intelligence. If you listen to the earnings call, you see what the management said. They have strong confidence, especially for cloud intelligence group, that this growth rate will continue. And if you have this growth rate, let's see here, over 15% also this year, next quarters, that will be quite a lot. So, despite this decline, Alibaba is still a good opportunity. It will deliver you at the current price, after this increase over 60%, still it will deliver you a nice return. I expect that by the end of this year, the stock price to be higher than $123. I expect this because the growth rate is quite sustainable. They do the right thing. And on top of this, let me show you something important. Two important things. First, let's start with rewarding the shareholders. As you can see, during 2025, their fiscal year, they reduced the number of shares by 5.1%. What does it mean? This means you got a growing dividend of around 5.1%. And this is quite amazing. I mean, to have a growing dividend of 5% is quite amazing. I mean, they reduce the number of shares by 5%. And imagine, you get a dividend of 5%. And their earnings, as long as they keep growing more in the future, and that is likely to happen, their earnings on every share will increase in the long term. Earnings per share will increase in the long term. So that's why I say it's a growing dividend for you, 5%. And talking about dividends, surprise, you will get $2 per share, ADS. So if you want to get this dividend, be sure to hold the shares, by June 12, 2025. And then you decide if you want to sell or not. Now, this is the first important thing. The second one, let me show you something important, is the number of employees. In just one quarter, this number has decreased from 194,000 to 124,000 employees. What does it mean? This means that they got more efficient in their operations. They have less expenses, they pay fewer wages, and fewer taxes. Because as you know, the highest cost of a company for almost every company is the employees. And when you see this reduction, this means that Alibaba is getting much better and better, and their profits will improve more in the future. When I see 20% growth rate in their revenue, but in their earnings, for sure you will see high growth rates. So Alibaba is on the wave. They are about to grow even more from this level. And this is my prediction. Of course, my past prediction, quarter over quarter, was wrong. But now you understand what my prediction was based on. On real growth rate, on real business growth rate. And you easily see it here in the results. Growth rate in e-commerce, especially customer management, which is the most important, 12%. And this delivers the highest profits. And also Cloud Intelligence Group, another pillar, important pillar of Alibaba, 18%. And you understand why I said that Alibaba stock will go up after the earnings, after the report, the results for the last quarter. And I still believe that next quarters will be great and the stock price will increase. Now, if you look at what the analysts say, that's quite wrong. Because if you look at their past predictions, especially when the stock price was about $72, they said that this is not a good investment. Get away from China. But look what happened. So that's why you have to be very, very careful with those analysts, especially their expectations. Now, if you want to know more, if you want to have access to better investment ideas, then you can join my membership. Go to my profile, press join, and then scroll down to choose the level you want. Free level, Titan Investor gives you access to my portfolio, see exactly when I buy and when I sell, plus an ongoing investing course. And if you want more, you can have 1 hour coaching call with me. And by the way, by buying this level exclusive, you also get access to all the previous levels. So this is a great value you can get if you want, of course, to increase your return and improve your portfolio. So that's it for this video. And if you have other questions, please let me know in the comments.